In the darkness above the Atlantic, a routine flight became a moment that changed aviation forever. 228 souls, gone, but never forgotten. Their story lives on in every aircraft that crosses the sky today. From mystery came truth. From tragedy came lessons. From loss came change. Remember them. Remember Flight 447. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Obscura for more true stories, mysteries, and untold events that shaped our world. After watching it, please leave in the comments what video you want me to make for you, about what topic, and last but not least, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. On the night of May 31st, 2009, an Airbus A330 lifted off from Rio de Janeiro, heading toward Paris. 228 people were on board. It was a routine transatlantic flight, but within hours, the aircraft would vanish into the darkness over the Atlantic Ocean. No distress call, no explosion, just silence. For 2 years, the world asked the same question. How does a modern aircraft simply disappear? Air France Flight 447 departed normally. The crew was experienced, and the aircraft was modern and well-maintained. The route across the Atlantic was common, flown safely thousands of times before. But as the plane approached a powerful storm system over the equatorial Atlantic, conditions began to change. Lightning illuminated towering clouds, and turbulence began to build. At first, nothing seemed unusual for long-haul aviation, until it was. At 2:10 a.m., automatic maintenance messages began transmitting from the aircraft. These messages reported inconsistencies in airspeed readings. Moments later, additional alerts followed. The autopilot disconnected. Flight control systems began switching modes. In the cockpit, the crew suddenly faced unexpected technical warnings in the middle of a powerful storm at 35,000 feet. Then, without any distress call, Flight 447 disappeared from radar. Communication was lost. The aircraft was gone. Search operations began immediately. Aircraft and ships scanned the vast Atlantic Ocean, hoping to locate any sign of the missing flight. Days later, fragments of the aircraft were found floating on the surface. But the main wreckage remained missing, hidden deep beneath the ocean. For nearly 2 years, the black boxes remained lost in the depths of the Atlantic. Without the flight recorders, investigators had very little information. The aviation world was left with questions, but few answers. Families waited in uncertainty. Experts debated possible causes. The mystery deepened. Then, in 2011, using advanced underwater search technology, investigators finally located the wreckage nearly 4,000 meters below the ocean's surface. The black boxes were recovered, and with them came the truth about the final minutes of Flight 447. As the aircraft entered a region of intense storm activity, ice crystals temporarily blocked the pitot tubes, the sensors responsible for measuring airspeed. As a result, the aircraft's instruments began displaying inconsistent speed readings. The autopilot disconnected automatically, forcing the pilots to take manual control. In the cockpit, confusion quickly developed. The crew was suddenly faced with unreliable data in the middle of a storm at high altitude during the night. One of the pilots pulled the aircraft's nose upward, believing the plane was losing altitude. But in reality, the aircraft was slowing. It entered a condition known as an aerodynamic stall, where the wings no longer produce enough lift to maintain flight. Warning alarms sounded repeatedly inside the cockpit. Stall warnings echoed continuously. But amid darkness, turbulence, and conflicting instrument data, the crew misinterpreted the situation. Instead of lowering the nose to regain airspeed, they continued pulling upward. For more than 3 minutes, the aircraft descended in a stalled condition. It was not diving at high speed, but falling, unable to generate lift. Finally, the aircraft impacted the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. There had been no explosion, no mid-air breakup, and no act of terrorism. The tragedy was the result of a chain of events involving severe weather, temporary sensor malfunction, autopilot disconnection, and human confusion under extreme pressure. The final investigation changed aviation worldwide. Engineers redesigned the pitot sensors to better resist ice crystal blockage. Pilot training programs were updated globally, placing greater emphasis on high-altitude manual flight and stall recovery. Airlines strengthened cockpit communication training, ensuring that pilots coordinate clearly during rapidly evolving situations. Aviation safety improved as a result of lessons learned from Flight 447. From tragedy came reform, and from mystery came understanding. In the years following the disaster, investigators continued analyzing every second of recovered flight data. Simulations revealed how quickly a routine flight can turn into a crisis when multiple small failures occur simultaneously. The event highlighted how human perception can be affected by stress, darkness, and conflicting information. Airlines worldwide strengthened training in manual flight, unreliable airspeed recognition, and disciplined response under pressure. Engineers improved aircraft warning systems and sensor reliability. Today, Flight 447 is remembered as a turning point in aviation safety. It demonstrated that even in the age of advanced automation, human awareness and decision-making remain critical in every flight. Air France 447 was once one of the greatest aviation mysteries of the modern era. For 2 years, the world searched for answers hidden deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean. In the end, the cause was not supernatural nor conspiratorial. It was human. A powerful reminder that aviation depends not only on technology, but on clarity, communication, and sound judgment under pressure. The mystery was solved, but its lessons continue to shape aviation safety today. Every aircraft that crosses the Atlantic carries the legacy of Flight 447, and in that legacy lives the memory of those who never reached their destination.